Hello and welcome to another episode of Short Sharp Schlocks, the YouTube show from the makers of Schlock Tactics, which is a bad movie podcast. Here we just take a look at new and current movies, whether they be good, bad or otherwise. My name's Ash and today I'm going to be talking about It Chapter 2. So this is obviously the second part, the follow-up to It Chapter 1 from 2 years ago, directed again by Andy Muschietti. This time we do have the adult characters, played by a pretty good cast here. You've got James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, and a couple of other people as well. And of course Bill Skarsgård returning as Pennywise the Clown. Basically this does pick up obviously 27 years later than Chapter 1, just like they did in the original made-for-TV miniseries and of course the book. So in this one, all the adults have grown up and left Derry, and they have to come back again because Pennywise is starting to flare up again and kill children again and that sort of stuff. So they all have to come back. They're all gathered back by Mike, who's the only one who hasn't left Derry. And for one reason or another, they've all had sort of terrible, problematic lives, and so they all sort of come together again and remember the time when they were little kids, hanging out in Derry, and they start to get terrorised all over again by Pennywise with the sort of their own fears again, confronting them and traumatising them until they're able to have a final showdown with it. So, I mean, I should say that I really did like It Chapter 1 from 2 years ago. I thought that was really good, really effective. Scares were really creative. The kids were all really good. I thought it was much better than the 1990 made-for-TV version, which, although people remember fondly, if you go back and watch it now, it's really just a really great performance from Tim Curry and not much else. This movie, however, I thought wasn't even as good as the made-for-TV sort of Chapter 2. I thought this was a complete mess. Good performances from the adults, I like that. Again, a good performance from Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, if a little bit kind of hokey in parts. It just really strange, inexplicable silliness all the way through this film, whether it be naked pensioners, bats coming out of fortune cookies, just really weird decisions for none of the scares were really very scary. I didn't think. In fact, I thought most of them were laughable, laugh out loud, and people in the cinema with me seemed to take that approach as well. So I don't really know what they were thinking with a lot of these, whether I don't believe it's following the source material. I haven't read the book. It didn't seem like it was, and it's a bit of a shame really, because they set this up really good with Chapter 1. But if anything, Chapter 2 of it, you would expect this to be a bit more serious and a bit more scary than when they were kids, because they're now adults. And that's sort of hinted at the beginning when, you see where these characters are now, and there's domestic abuse and suicide and divorce and all like depressing adult stuff. So, but then it's just really, really silly stuff throughout, and actually not that much Pennywise as you would expect for a film that's 3 hours long. They take an awful long time to do not a lot in 3 hours, I can tell you. It's just tedious. You're waiting for some scares, and when they come, they're just silly. I think really the only thing I did like about this film was Bill Hader's performance as Richie, because he was actually meant to be funny, and he was funny. So he was on target, on tone. But the rest of the film was just tonally a mess. There's all this sort of weird stuff about Richie being gay, which I believe he is in the book, but then in this one it's really danced around, and there's only a sort of reference by Pennywise saying, "I know what your dirty little secret is." That's a bit weird. I wasn't quite sure about that. It's never really brought up again, so it's this kind of, you feel like you want this character to be given a bit more to work with and have that story sort of seen through, which it is not really followed through on. Again, there's this weird love triangle between Beverly and Ben and Bill, and the whole poem, "Your hair is winter fire," this sort of stuff from the first one, which I thought was overdone a little bit in the first one, but here it's like basically she falls in love with whoever she finds out wrote the poem, and so one minute she thinks that it's Bill, so she'll kiss him, and then next when she finds out it's Ben, she'll kiss him. So it's like completely cack-handed sort of romantic subplot as well that just doesn't really go anywhere either, and you wonder what the point of all of it is, So yeah, that's what I thought of It Chapter 2. I mean, really disappointing when you consider it's all the same people that made the first one, same director, same writer, I believe, and based on the same source material. So how they could sort of get the first one so right and then get this one so wrong, I don't know. But but there are some good performances. There is some good special effect again, and Bill Skarsgård, I think, does a good job again with Pennywise the Clown in the shadow of Tim Curry's performance as he is. So let me know what you thought of It Chapter 2 in the comments below. Was it worth the wait? Do you think it follows up nicely the first one? Do you think it's as good or better than the original made-for-TV movies? Let me know, and subscribe to the channel so when I do a new review you'll be the first one to know. But that has been another episode of Short Sharp Schlocks. My name is Binash, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Yes, I am. It's alive. It must be.